everybody, and welcome to the Happy Ukrainian Wine Show. This is our number 4 episode, and we're going to talk today about a 2009 California Beringer White Zinfandel wine. Looks good, tastes good. I'm not a real fan of this. My wife is, and Linda is. So this one's for you, Linda. It's been a good week. Hopefully everybody's missed me. Two things I want to talk about. Anybody watch wrestling? I'm a real wrestling fan, been a wrestling fan for years. And The Rock has come back to the WWE, so that should add some excitement. Actually, my prediction is that The Rock is going to referee a match between Cena and Miz at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. Number 2, the first show I did on this was Don David, a Malbec wine from Argentina. Just got my new copy of Wine Excess magazine, and they actually review it here as a hot pick for a cold night. And they gave it a score of 88, and if you remember, I gave it about an 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. So that's pretty close to their score. And it says, a good Malbec, Don David has ripe blackberry and plum alongside toasty oaks. The palate is silky with tannins so smooth they are barely noticeable but decent length. Good for roast beef with mashed potatoes. Actually, I like that supper. But it's a great magazine. This is a Canadian magazine. I subscribe to it, and it's good. There you go. So this is White Zinfandel. Let's go back to that for a sec. And 2009. Actually, it's from Napa Valley. It's a Beringer, and actually Beringer is one of the biggest producers of White Zinfandel, also called White Zin, also called Blush. I mean, for years, that's what we've called this. If I've gone to the store and had to pick up something that my wife wanted that wasn't white or red, we got a blush, and that's what we called it. Well, it's actually a White Zin. And White Zins are produced a little differently than other wines, is that when they're making the wine, they leave the skins for about 3 hours with the wine juice, and that gives it its sort of pinkish color. Remember, I'm colorblind, so the lady at the liquor mart told me that this was blush. So there you go. Not expensive wine. I think this one was under $15. Am I right, Laverne? Okay, so my wife's shaking her head. Hopefully the camera wasn't shaking. But I actually call this snacky wine. It's great if you're gonna just want to have something outside. It's actually a summer wine, I think, more than winter. So after September long weekend, you shouldn't drink this wine. Hopefully nobody from Beringer is watching this, but we're going to drink it today anyways. And if you're having crackers, if you're having cheese, it's a great light wine. It's a real fruity wine. And another thing that's nice about it is that it's very refreshing. So it's not a sipping wine like you would with some big reds. You can actually take a big swig of this. It's a wine that you should drink cool, not cold. One thing is, everybody thinks they should get that wine as cold as they can, especially some whites or even Zin like this. But when you're getting wines that are really cold, they'll lose some of their flavor. And the flavor just doesn't come out. Put it in the fridge for a while, bring it out, let it breathe a little bit, but you'll notice that it's a big difference. Oh, I keep thinking about The Rock. Do you know who my favorite wrestler was? Gentleman Gene Kiniski. I've been watching him in the 60s and the 70s, and he used to say, what he used to do is he'd go and be interviewed by a guy named Ron Morier, who was a great announcer, and he'd be interviewed by him, and he would go, "Well, Gene, what have you got to say today?" And he'd go on and on and on. Gene Kiniski would talk for like 10 minutes, and at the end he'd go, "I'd like to thank my fellow Canadian-American viewing audience for allowing me to home via TV. And as usual, Ron Murray did a wonderful job of interviewing me." And actually, the guy never said anything except for, "Here's gentleman Gene Kiniski." And actually, I'm pretty sure that he was a linebacker or some football player with the Edmonton Eskimos before he became a wrestler. So there you go, a little bit of trivia for you. Let's pour this in the glass. The big monster glass is gone today because I don't want to drink a lot of this. 10.5% alcohol, so now there we go. We've had a few higher end alcohol. This is about 10%, which is about right. If you notice, nice pink. Again, Beringer is from the Napa Valley. Sutter Home, I think, is another one that produces pretty good white zins. So let's go in here. Can you smell what's in the glass? Oh, I love when the rock does that. 7 years the rock's been gone. It was a really good week. We talked about it lots at work. So really nice color. Now, for the life of me, it's called the White Zin or a White Zinfandel. I have no idea why it's called this because it's pink. Maybe that's for colorblind guys like me. This way it'll, you know, if I guess at it, I could say it's light red, if that's really a color. Let's give it some air in there and let's give it a sniff. Everybody wonders why I stick my nose so far in the glass, because I got to get all that smell in there. I've got a Ukrainian nose. You can, first thing you do is you smell berries in here. You know, let's go back to this smelling. I talked to a gentleman yesterday and we were talking about wines, and he says the smelling of wine is overrated. But one thing you should do is, when you smell this wine, not everybody's smells, not everybody's palate is the same. I may taste this wine and go, wow, that's the best wine I've ever tasted. You might take a sip out of this wine and go, blah, right? And it's the same with reds. Many times I've had a red, I've gone to somebody's house and they go, oh, this is our favorite wine. I've drank it, but I haven't found it outstanding or anything. And yet, I'll go buy a bottle of wine and I think it's really good, and somebody else will take a sip of it. They won't like it either. So, it's all up to you. It's your own palate. You may like something that the next person won't. So, here we go. Let's give it another sniff. Remember the other day I said it smells like pears? That was the ice wine that I had. This wine actually smells like melon. You know, one of the smells I really like are nutmeg. I always like the smell of nutmeg. This has a little touch of nutmeg in it. Oh, it smells good actually. Okay, so give it a little swirl. Let's give it a taste. Maybe the Atlanta Trashers will come here now. Somebody's going to come back to Winnipeg, and I need seats, so if anybody's watching this. Actually, I'm looking for sponsors for this show. So if you buy me the bottle of wine, bring it to my work. I work at MTS Connect in Kildonan Place. Bring me the wine. I'll review it, and I'll mention that your company or whatever brought it. Remember that, Linda? So there you go. Oh, my wife's laughing. I like that. There you go. Oh, I forgot what it tasted like. Let's do this again. Wow. It's like drinking candy. There's sweet wine and there's sweet wine. But again, if you're having something, actually, you know what? I'm going to change the subject for a sec. Is we've had this wine before, and in fact, we've had it with pizza. I'm one of these guys that if I'm having pizza or something heavy, I don't want a heavy red with it. So we'll go for something lighter. There's a Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio we really like, and I don't know if I pronounced it right or not, but it's a really good light Pinot Grigio, really good if you're going to have pizza or pasta like that. And this one right here, exactly the same. It's a home run if you're going to have something really spicy. If you have a red and you're having a heavy meal, I don't know, I just don't like it, but try this. And again, you can taste that melon, but this is sweet. If, I don't know, I give it, when they used to do the scales, everybody go, I want a 0, I want a 0. Well, most wines are a 0, this is 1+. Very sweet, but really good flavor. If you were going to rate this wine for, you know, let's call this what it is. It's a chick wine. Not a Gimli goose or a baby duck, better than that. But, oh, I shouldn't have said that because I'm from Manitoba if somebody gets hooked, because Gimli's not far from here. Anyway, it's definitely a chick wine. So while I'll sit there and I'll drink my Don David red wine or a nice red wine, actually an old vine, we'll get to old vine wines one day. This is a drinking wine. I could just, it's sweet. It's like a soda pop of wine. So my wife's sitting there, she's already rolling her tongue around in her mouth. She's waiting to have the rest of this bottle. Well, maybe a sip. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Anyways, there you go. Here we go. Nice blush wine. It's a nice after supper wine, or if you're going to have it with a spicy meal, it's really good. Really tasty. If you want a wine that's really fruity, go out and buy this. It's under $15. It's a Beringer 2009 White Zinfandel. 10% alcohol. And it's a US wine, so if you're looking, it's under the US section. And you know, that's it for today's show. Don't know what I'm going to do for the next one, but Daj Bože, and can you smell what I'm drinking?